From your grocery list to your Amazon wish list, what we write down shapes what we actually buy. Here to examine the psychology of our shopping list is friend of the show and consumer expert Morgan Ward. Morgan, welcome back to the show.
Morning, Chesley.
All right, let's get right to it. Are we unknowingly turning what our wants are into our needs by writing them down?
Writing them down is actually a great way to go through the grocery store because it creates a goal. And if you have the goal of buying vegetables, then you might be less likely to stop in the chips aisle. And it reminds us what we intended to do when we went to the grocery store, maybe eat healthy, for instance, rather than make impulse purchases.
So retailers and influencers are now helping us build lists. Do you see that as helpful planning or just kind of manipulation?
I think it's helpful planning depending, of course, on what's on that list. People make 23% less impulse buys when they are following a list. So if you've given somebody a good list, a list that actually aligns with what they want to purchase for themselves, then I think it's a really good thing to do before you go to the grocery store and sort of buy willy-nilly.
So you're finding a growth trend of just sticking with default options when it comes to buying things, but could that be costing us some money?
Yeah, defaults are great if they are defaulting us to make good decisions, right? So we don't like to think too hard for small decisions that don't matter that much. So we tend to choose something that seems to be obvious or seems to be chosen by an expert. So for instance, if you go to get a coffee and there's a default tip, then you might just go with that tip instead of writing in your own, which takes much more time, or a default amount to donate to some kind of place that you want to donate. If there's a default amount, you might be more likely to take them up on that offer, or even sharing your email. If they've defaulted you into sharing your email, you might not unclick that default yes.
Gotcha. Is there some simple change that we can make to outsmart these platforms that profit from this kind of action?
Yeah, you can remind yourself that this is just selected by somebody who has an agenda, and so that you really need to think about whether this defaulted choice is really in your best interests.
Gotcha. All right, finally, let me get you out of here on this now. You're seeing an issue surrounding restock culture. What is that, and why is it a bit of a problem?
Oh, restock videos are addictive, and they basically leverage the idea that you can have as much as you want and that it's beautiful. And so what I think it encourages is what it encourages consumers to do is buy things often that they don't even use, that just happen to look beautiful in a refrigerator. And that causes us to sort of overconsume, which we've talked about it before, but overconsuming is certainly a huge problem in this country. So we don't need any more reminders to buy more stuff.
I know that's right. We don't need any more reminders. What advice would you give people trying to balance this all out?
I would say remember what you actually use. You probably don't use 46 tiny deodorants, right? As beautiful as those look in your cupboard, you don't use those. And so we need to purchase things that we think we'll use, I would say in the next month, for things that, we use repeatedly. Otherwise, things tend to expire, or we start using different products. So just remember what you're actually using and try to purchase that rather than what looks beautiful.
You want to try something different, right? You may buy the same product and then they put a different flavor out on it, or put some kind of new scent on it. And so we want to try that. But you're saying we shouldn't do that.
Don't do it.
All right. Just as simple as that. Morgan Ward, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. I'm just not going to do it.
Don't do it. Thank you.
All right. Take care.